So I came up with a vision about how I thought Web3 games could be done better. I needed the ability to mint NFTs programmatically without any human involvement. It needed to have low latencies and low transaction costs. And it also needed to be built as a server-based multiplayer game. So I started looking at what different blockchain tech stack I could use. The obvious first one to go to was Ethereum, so that's where I started. Ethereum, the transaction fees were outrageously large, and also I didn't find an easy way, being a Unity developer, to kind of write code for minting tokens on Ethereum in C#, which is what Unity uses. So eventually I went to the Unity asset store and just said I'll go search around there, and that's where I found that there was an Enjin SDK. And so I thought, okay, that should make it easy, and I started looking into Enjin and saw that, hey, this could be a really good fit. So I downloaded the Enjin SDK. That's super easy on Unity, and just integrated into my game. In a few hours, I had the SDK up and running. After that came a longer journey of really learning how Web3 works and the different concepts involved. I hadn't played with it at all. So I needed to learn about exchanges and wallets and gas fees and all the sorts of things that are Web3, and eventually came to the realization that, hey, what I really need is to use Enjin JumpNet, which is a sidechain that Enjin built that enables fast transactions with no fees. That was where I would be able to make my vision come to life. After learning how to get myself JumpNet Enjin into my wallet, and that really unlocked the ability to start really building and trying and playing with things using the Enjin platform. And in a few months, I was able to build a proof of concept where a player could find an item, mint it into an NFT on the fly, all from the game. After that, I knew, hey, this is for real. I can really make this thing work. It took a much longer period of time to say, okay, now I need to build a game, like a multiplayer game. That was actually a much harder part. So I took Privateteers, which was a game I had already built, and I reworked that to be multiplayer server-based, so that it would be suitable for online play, where people would be able to enjoy kind of sharing their NFTs with each other. In order to realize my vision for the Etherscape, I needed to create a system that could mint tokens on the fly with no human interaction. Here you can see a diagram of how I architected that system. There's a mix of different technologies involved, including Unity, Windows Azure, Google Firebase, and of course the Enjin Blockchain. In the bottom left, you can see the Unity game client, where players are going to be interacting with the game, and that communicates with the Unity game server using netcode, and the server is hosted in Azure Cloud. I'm also hosting the Enjin platform in the Azure Cloud, so the Unity server will be communicating with the Enjin platform in order to read all the token metadata off the chain. It also reads the metadata from the Firestore from Google Cloud, which is where it will understand how to interpret the different tokens inside the game. This is really enough to build an NFT game already. However, we want players to be able to mint their own tokens, so we need to go a little further. That's why in the top right, you can see that we have a Unity mint server, which we built, which also interacts with the Enjin platform in order to mint new tokens onto the Enjin matrix chain. It also interacts with the Firestore in order to write the token metadata for those tokens. This way, players can actually trigger minting a token based on their hard-earned loot in-game. This is how we believe that players can then take control of the economy. Lastly, Firebase hosting is used to expose the token metadata to a web API so that other services can read it, for example, NFT.io or the Enjin wallet.